Hey guys, how you doing? I want to say hello from Mevaseret and obviously all of Yerushalayim. We miss you and we hope to see you guys soon. I want to give you a brief message on the month of Sivan and the Yom Tov of Shavuot. What is the avoda? What is the avoda of the month of Sivan? What's the avoda of Kabbalas HaTorah of Shavuot? So Chazal tell us that every month of the 12 months is connected one of the 12 Shvatim. So we have 12 Shvatim. Two of the Shvatim are, we know Yisachar and Zvulun. Yisachar is the one that sits and learns, and Zvulun is the one that supported Yisachar. Now, if you think about it, you'd think that the month of Shavuot, the month of Sivan, should have been the month where we have Yisachar, the one who sits and learns. But it's just the opposite. The month of Zvulun, the month of Sivan is the month of Zvulun. Which is weird. Why is that? Shouldn't it be Yisachar, the one who sits and learns? We got Torah. It should be the person who sits and learns Torah. So I wanted to answer that based on it. There was a Shagas Aryeh, famous Shagas Aryeh. Many of you guys may have even heard me say this a couple of times. Shagas Aryeh says all mitzvahs are Derabanan, except for one, Berachas Hamazon. And he wants to say there's even another one. There's another mitzvah. There's the mitzvah of Berachas HaTorah. And why does he say that? Because the Gemara in Nedarim says that all the mitzvah, he says that the reason the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, the Gemara in Nedarim says that the reason why the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed is for one reason. Because we didn't make a bracha. So we didn't make a bracha before we learned Torah. So the Ran gives an explanation. He says, I don't understand. Where does he know that from? So he brings the Gemara in Yirmiyah. The Gemara in Yirmiyah says the reason why the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed was because for one reason, which is because Azavti es Torasi, you abandoned my Torah. Now, he says, I don't understand. There were plenty of Talmidei Chachamim back then. The Talmidei Chachamim were trying to figure out why. It doesn't make so much sense that it could have been that they just didn't learn Torah. Rather, he says, the answer is, not they didn't learn Torah, it's because they didn't appreciate the Torah. They didn't make the Berachas HaTorah first. Because when you're learning a subject like science, social studies, whatever it may be, you have all these different subjects. You can be in college, wherever you are, in high school, different places, when you're reading the newspaper. Very interesting things. Intellectual people appreciate these things. But the difference is, how do you look at it? Do you look at it as just another intellectual pursuit? Or look at something which is meaningful, something which is a way of getting close to Hashem. They didn't make a bracha first, but they looked at it as being another subject. They didn't appreciate what the Torah was. So I like to say there's a rush in Maseches, also in Maseches Bava Metzia, and the rush says like this, as follows. And it's Agos Hashri, which says that if Reuven were to buy lead off somebody, and Reuven has lead, and now he decides, you know what, it's worth $5, I'm going to sell it to Shimon for $5. Then he finds out a week later after he sold it to Shimon, he finds out, really, you know what, it was really silver. He just didn't realize, and it was worth $100. Now Reuven's going to turn back to Shimon and he's like, hey, oh, Shimon, I sold you something, but I thought it was something else. I didn't think I was selling you, I thought I was selling you lead, but really it was silver. I want the extra $95 back. Give me my money back. Now Agos Hashri says you can't get money back. You know why? Because since Reuven didn't know what he had, it's as if he never owned it. And the Ishbitzer Rebbe wants to say on that if a person doesn't appreciate what he has, he doesn't understand what it is that he has, it's as if he never owned it. It's as if he never owned it in the first place. So I want to say that's the month of Shavuos. The reason why it was Zvulun is because to sit and learn Torah, that's one thing. It's one thing to sit and learn Torah, but to be a person who's not necessarily learning it every second, who's not learning all day and all night, but to still appreciate it, to say, I may not be able to learn every second. I may not be able to learn, I may just be able to support it. But that's where you show how much you really appreciate what Torah really is. When you're doing it for somebody else, when you're giving Torah, just for the sake that the Torah should be learned. And because that's a person, Shavuos, the month of Sivan, is the month of Zvulun, because it's a month where you have to realize before you can get the Torah, you know what you have to have? Before you learn Torah, before you can accept the Torah, you have to appreciate what the Torah really is. And without appreciating what the Torah is, you have nothing. You don't have the Torah at all. So coming the month of Sivan, there's a Gemara also in Pesachim, which says, Rabbi Yossi said, he's referring to Shavuos. If it had not been for this day, what day is referring to Shavuos? Kami Yossi Ika B'Shukah. How many Joes would be in the Shuk? And I heard one of my Rebbeim once told me, I think it was B'Shem Nisvas Emes, that Ilav Dehayoma Kama Yossi. How much of Yossi? Me Yossi. How much of me? I'd be fragmented. I'd be everywhere. I'd be a little bit here, a little bit there, all over the place. I never have Seder in life. I never be settled in life. Torah, you have to appreciate Torah. The month of Sivan is not just a day just to learn Torah. Shavuot is not just a day of learning Torah. It's a day to appreciate what it is that we have. When a person can appreciate what it is that he has, such as the Torah, then he can have a real Kabbalas Torah. Guys, I always say that they always talk about this as alumnus. Alumni shiurim, alumni events. I want you guys to know, alumni, I don't like the word. Alumni makes it seem like you're not in yeshiva anymore, you're gone. It's a former student. You guys are all our students. The guys who I've had, the guys who I haven't had, you're all students. You'll always be students. Please feel free to keep on reaching out. When I come back to America and I see you guys, it's amazing. And it's as if you guys never left. And I want you guys to know, please keep on reaching out. You have my email address, you have my phone number, please. I miss you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys soon.